And now, aviation weather around Alaska.
Satellite pictures showing a lot of cloudiness with the areas of rain here moving eastward across the central and now into the eastern interior, pulling off into Canada. Kind of a weak system right up through here, dissipating as it comes onto the coast. Low pressure here south of the Alaska Peninsula. Brought some rain overnight and earlier today over that area, but tapering off as it shifts eastward here. And some light rain going on at Kodiak. Otherwise, not much out here to the west. A lot of clouds across the Bering Sea and another system out in that area. Rolling this along, you can see this system tracking east-northeastward. It'll take off to the east here tonight and then start to dive southeastward during the day tomorrow and miss the Panhandle. So we're just looking at another batch of moisture coming into the southwest interior. Some pretty good clearing going on up here over the northwest part of the state, western North Slope Brooks Range, out into the Noatak Valley area. And again, a lot of moisture here in westerly flow, a lot of clouds anyway, across the Bering Sea, but better conditions down over the Aleutians, kind of a system here just to the south. And flying weather tomorrow morning. Areas of IFR here over the north central interior. North Slope looks VFR as well as most of the Arctic coast. IFR into Norton Sound and the Lotto Hills, northern Yukon Delta. And Seward Peninsula area, St. Lawrence Island, southwestward here into the southwest Bering Sea. Crossed all the Aleutians actually here up into the Alaska Peninsula. Bristol Bay VFR, good VFR here across southern Alaska. And IFR in the Gulf here, right up to the central coast of the Panhandle. And begin to improve there, actually IFR tonight, or for tomorrow morning for Kodiak Island. And then that kind of hangs on the east side of the islands there, improving to VFR for Shelikof Strait. Southern Alaska, good VFR. Marginal VFR along areas of the outer coastline of the Panhandle, there's VFR inland areas. VFR up into the eastern interior, marginal VFR here with some IFR along the southern slopes of the Brooks Range, and IFR again, Norton Sound, southern Seward Peninsula, St. Lawrence Island, Bering Strait. Some VFR showing up here off the southwest coast, but otherwise the remainder of the Bering Sea, all of the Aleutians, IFR. And for Wednesday morning, still a flow of moisture coming in from west-southwest to east-northeast here, keeping some marginal VFR in areas of IFR embedded in it there. And western Arctic coast, North Slope, marginal VFR for Wednesday morning. Lots of IFR for the Aleutians and the Bering Sea. And IFR again, Kodiak Island, eastward now, showing up along the coast of the Panhandle there, but farther inland, VFR, southern Alaska, good VFR right through here, up into the eastern interior areas. And for Wednesday afternoon, mainland Alaska, mostly VFR, some IFR again, eastern Kodiak Island, staying south of the North Gulf Coast, and then right along the south coast of the Panhandle with VFR conditions eastward. Not much change out to the west. A lot of IFR here for the Bering Sea, all the way down. Again, all the Aleutians looking IFR, and along the south side of the Alaska Peninsula, but up into Bristol Bay, VFR there. And some marginal VFR still along the central western Arctic coast, but not too bad up that way. Passes for Tuesday, Anaktuvuk and Atigun, the only two in the marginal VFR flying categories there, and either approach. Lake Clark and Merrill, VFR, rainy VFR, forecast looks good for windy as well. VFR flying there. Isabel, same forecast, in fact the entire Alaska range, VFR flying. Mentasta, Tanita, VFR. Portage, VFR, and Chilkoot and White, VFR. Freezing levels about 8 to 10,000 feet here across southern Alaska into the Panhandle, and 10,000 feet plus there for Bristol Bay, the Alaska Peninsula, and then kind of sloping down a little to 4,000 feet for the western Arctic coast there. And this tighter packing of these freezing level lines indicating pretty good westerly flow coming across the Chukchi Sea there. And icing, again with that westerly flow, we got this moisture coming east-northeastward there into the western interior, up into the northwest interior to the Arctic coast there. Look for isolated moderate rime icing anywhere in this shaded area here. And then for the jet stream, Westerlies, 75 to 100 knots coming across the Chukchi Sea right into the western Arctic coast, 75 knot westerlies down to the Selkirk Valley there, much lighter under upper high pressure here over southern Alaska, keeping it dry again, at least for another couple days, right into the Panhandle. This low pulling off to the east and then starting to turn southeast, couple of weak lows over the Aleutians. Looking at 9,000 feet here, very light winds, light variable conditions for the southeast coast. All of southern Alaska too, with basically higher pressure. Upper level low there, storm over the Arctic Ocean. West winds 55 knots right into the western Arctic coast, north slope areas. 35 knot westerlies down to the Seward Peninsula, turning west-southwest 35 knots over the upper Yukon Valley. Very light wind conditions out here over the Bering Sea and the Aleutians, Kodiak Island. And 3,000 feet, not too bad wind-wise. Windiest conditions up here along the Arctic coast with that big storm over the Arctic Ocean. West 25 to 30 knots, southwest or west-southwesterlies 20 to 25 knots here. Central interior, west 25 just south of St. Lawrence Island. Light winds over the Bering Sea, southern Alaska, the Gulf into the Panhandle. And looking at the turbulence graphic, can see considerable moderate turbulence along the Brooks Range here and possibly to the south. Another band here, St. Lawrence Island, could get a little bumpy. Mostly isolated moderate turbulence through this area here, as well as the central and western Arctic coast and most of the North Slope.